What's going on, everyone? This is Michael Stewart Isaacs.
And this is Shemekka.
And this is your next episode of
Sunday Stacks.
Sunday Stacks, back again. We are excited, always eventful week. So we are just ready to just let you all know some of the great things that have been stacking for us these weeks. We want to, of course, give a quick shout out to the Alive Podcast Network. Yes, it is always good to be alive. And we are so grateful to this podcast network for expanding our Sunday Stacks platform and this taking this series all around the country and around the globe to just really empower people and really share what it is to really collaborate and build together. So we always want to give a shout out to the Live Podcast Network. Of course, me and Shemekka with I Am Brilliant, the I Am Brilliant Tour. We are always grateful for the work we get to do in community and just uplifting different organizations to continue to illuminate. So it's just been so many great things going on. And as we always start each show, I want to ask you, Shemekka, how's it stacking for you this week?
Oh, thank you for checking in. It is stacking really strong in the areas of focus and celebration. I've been doing a lot of planning this week, but we had some incredible opportunities. We kicked off our Leadership Empowerment Group. We were so happy to have that launch. It's just a lot of good energy and good vibes. There's still time for you to sign up, so definitely go check it out. Sign up through Forum. You can get the link on my website, shemekkaebony.com or shemekka.com. Definitely check out both of those. We will be using the While I'm Getting Naked and Sanctuary Life as resources during any of my groups. And there is still a little bit of time for you to catch this summer version of our DEI and ESG session that will be launching this Wednesday. So you got time to sign up. You got to sign up by Tuesday, though, or you won't be able to get in until our fall course.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think we also had some amazing things kind of kicking off this week. You know, of course, I Am Brilliant is always continually, building new ways to connect with people. And we've launched the I Am Brilliant virtuals where we're working with organizations all around the country. And this week was no exception. We had the luxury and the pleasure.
Absolutely.
Tell them a little bit about what we got a chance to do this week.
So we had the pleasure of working with NACME fellows or scholars that were chosen to participate at the University of Houston for their engineering. This is the National Association of Minority in Engineering.
The National Action Council for Minorities in Engineering, the NACME Pathways, is definitely was a awesome group to work with. Talk to us a little bit more about some of the fun we had with the youth.
We had an opportunity to introduce I Am Brilliant to these rising seniors from across the Houston area that were selected for their incredible reasons for why they were looking at when they first fell in love with STEM. So shout out to Dr. Gerard Henderson from out of Kinston, North Carolina, hailing at the University of Houston as a professor, celebrating you. Thank you for the invitation to come back to Houston. It had been a few years, so it was really good to be able to tap in virtually until we can get in person. And what I appreciate so much is that even though these young people were away from their families, they experienced outages, hurricane came through the area during that same time, the resiliency and the commitment and the focus and the passion was still shining through as they wrap up. They have now graduated and they're back home with their families, and I pray that their families are still being strengthened. So how's it stacking up for you?
Well, I have had an amazing week. Of course, again, shout out to Dr. Ja from the University of Houston for just kicking off this I Am Brilliant virtual and really just letting organizations see the power of what it is to really engage, especially young people. When we can touch, there were so many brilliant young people that we had the opportunity to listen to them and get them to share their brilliance. That was an amazing part of the week, just feeling the inspiration that came from it. Because every time you engage, you yourself as a trainer, you get inspired by the information and just the hope for the future. So I just wanted to just, double down on shouting them out because it was a great engagement and we look forward to any more. As far as what's stacking for me this week, I mean, it's just been a week of weeks. Me and Shemekka, we are no stranger when it is in our birthday season and we are in Cancer season. Don't get it twisted. We continuously celebrate. And it's just been an amazing celebration month for me here, just continuously celebrating my birthday. I had some some things kind of scheduled a little bit after my birthday. I had an opportunity to do a podcast interview with a podcaster out of Raleigh, North Carolina, a gentleman by the name of Glenn Warren. He's doing some phenomenal work with Fathers Forever, which is an organization that helps men who are transitioning from incarceration and coming back home, but realizing they need some help to get jobs and learn to re-engage their children, get some life skills and just basic needs and toiletries, whatever it may be. This organization provides and really helps people get on their feet. So I had an opportunity to sit down with their podcast series, which is actually called Chat and Chew. And it was just a great opportunity just to share some insights of my own story, some of what I've been through as a father myself, as well as the fatherlessness and the step up of fatherhood that has found me throughout my life. So I was able to just share a lot of those nuggets, and it was just a great opportunity. So just a good shout out to Glenn Warren. If you check out any of our I Am Brilliant social media pages, we did something with him during Father's Day. So you can go back and see just how amazing this gentleman is and just the wisdom that has come from his organization and his efforts. So shout out to him again. Also, Shemekka, this woman right here has surprised me surprises because she had me set up for some amazing concerts with some ladies of R&B. I mean, the Queens of R&B for my birthday. And we had a wonderful opportunity to go to a concert this week to celebrate my birthday. You know, I turned 41 this year, so I'm super excited. And we got to see Xscape, SWV. We had Maya. We had 702 in the house. We had Total. I mean, all my absolute favorites from the 90s.
The OMG
The
Girls.
OMG Girls. You know, these are the new age young divas coming up. But just to hear, you know, the classic songs that if you grew up in the 90s, you know, you was a young man like myself, finding your teenage self in the 90s, and you had all these sweet, beautiful black women singing these amazing songs through the 90s. Well, I got an opportunity to be serenaded and sung to through this whole concert experience. We had the VIP experience. It was amazing. We were at the Coastal, is it amphitheater is what they call it, or just the music theater out in
the music park.
Yeah, the music venue. It was amazing. And I mean, it was just a great, phenomenal experience. So shout out to Coastal Credit Union. Shout out to, you know, the ladies of R&B divas, queens. I mean, y'all royalty all day. Y'all just had those hits that had everyone singing. So just to see the massive crowd, oh my goodness, it was just an amazing experience just to see that unity and how different eras of our lives can always bring us together and unite us like nothing else. Isn't that something?
Absolutely. It was wonderful to be comfortable, enjoy ourselves, have our own private dance floor. We started out with rocking with DJ Terminator X before the concert. So shout out to him and his incredible work. He's always great when we get a chance to see him and experience his skills and his brilliance when it comes to getting us ready and hype and ready to go before a concert. So it was really good to experience that.
Artist on deck. There was an amazing artist there that was painting during. I love those types of things when you go to events.
Oh yeah, live painting.
Exactly. You had the live paintings and stuff. So just an amazing experience. So, you know, again, a lot of these photos, anyone who follows us on Instagram, yes, we're Sunday Stacks, but we're produced by I Am Brilliant. Make sure you check out the I Am Brilliant page on Facebook. You'll see these photos and all of our different adventures up there. If you're on LinkedIn, you can find us up there. If you're on social media, Instagram, YouTube, you know, make sure you continue to follow Sunday Stacks as well, Sunday Stacks Podcast, and I Am Brilliant, the producers of Sunday Stacks, that we continue to let you illuminate and see the joy that we get to bring across the country and communities. So as always, we've got a transition. Here at Sunday Stacks, we always make sure it's clear. We focus on a simple concept. We call it the FCC. Now, this ain't the Federal Commission for Communications, but this is our FCC, which is family, community, and company. Again, family, community, and company. And that's what we focus on in how we like to kind of articulate our way of kind of making sure people understand what, if they focus on the simplest thing possible to make the world a better place, what should it be? And it should be your family, which includes yourself and your own self-improvement, right? So everyone in the family having that mindset. And then you get into the community where you take those gifts and talents that you cultivated within the family You share with other people who too have families, and you all bring the best resources forward so everyone can benefit. And ultimately, the way we do that in a world of laws is we do it through companies that allow for us to have structures that we can make sure that are legal, that are tax worthy, and able to continue to stand so we can truly be the kingdoms that we're meant to be on this earth. And I just want us to kind of unpack why Sunday Stacks does what we do, why I Am Brilliant and me and Shemekka do what we do in our work, because we want to really create a grounding for that. And we understand we have to meet people at different points. But today's topic is a little interesting because it comes from a John Lewis quote, something, me and Shemekka, we always send poetry, quotes, Bible verses, you name it, to one another. We do it through family chats. We do it with our kids. We are very intentional in always giving affirmations. We call what we do at I Am Brilliant continuing affirmation culture. But sometimes I realize that affirmations can backfire when we have so much, mindsets that get locked into a permanent state of what I would call struggle. So the topic today is, are we in a permanent position of struggle? And I asked that question based on this John Lewis quote that always comes into that part we talk about good trouble, right? Everyone knows the part of this quote that talks about good trouble, but it starts off where it says, do not get lost in the sea of despair. Be hopeful. Be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It's the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. So I listened to that, and when I was able to just read that quote, because I'm like everyone, sometimes you get caught up in headlines, and I always think about that good trouble, and it always sounded good, right? Good trouble, good trouble. But then I had to read the whole quote and understand the part where I always like to hear. For me, I focus on be hopeful, be optimistic. But then it also talks about the struggle part. And it wasn't that it was just a struggle that could eventually be overcome. It said a struggle of a lifetime. And I understand these wonderful civil rights leaders and young people who were the force and the foundation of kind of learning from the elders and growing, who grew up in that era. They saw struggle. They saw like no one else. They saw people literally take nothing out of, and turn it into something. And you always have to applaud that ingenuity and that creativity, especially in a world that prides themselves in capitalism. But one of the things I want to know is, again, the question of this week is, are we in a permanent position of struggle? Is this a lifetime struggle? And is our only position to be good trouble where we're agitating, but we're never actually aggregating any wealth or resources because we're always locked into the struggle position? Answer that for me, Shemekka. Am I wrong for the perspective? Are we in a permanent position of struggle as a culture, community, as a country? And I'm not talking about from a racial line, so you address it however you feel that you could help give us some insights.
No, I don't believe that we are in a permanent position of struggle. But we will experience struggle in the iterations of our evolution. Nothing that grows sustainably does that successfully and sustainably without struggle. And that struggle is the agitation. The struggle is the stretching. The struggle is the growth pathways that we all have to experience. How we perceive it, how we carry it. I think about struggle the same way I used to think about strength. It was burdensome for me. It wasn't something I volunteered for. I didn't wake up and decide to be strong, but kept finding myself being told that time and time again. And so synonymous to struggle, being strong is a struggle for some and many. Until you get to the position that you understand that this is part of the process of becoming the better version of you. If we are afraid of struggle in this way, then we do not plan to grow too far. And if we're comfortable where we are, well, no shame, no shade. Like, do that. But if you're standing for bigger pictures and holding space in bigger spaces, like for me, a lot of my work is equity centered. So we're all always putting on the lens of scanning stuff through the lens of equity to see how it can be adjusted. That's just what evolution looks like as we begin to get what we need to be the best versions of ourselves. And so struggle comes with that. I love Representative John Lewis. What a powerful example of how to get involved in your community and amplify a way of being that included like struggle in real time, but seasoned with wisdom. We get this challenge and opportunity to remember hope when we are in despair. And many people think we are in desperate times right now. Some think we are in what we have deemed the end times. For wherever you are on this journey, whatever your truth is, understanding that struggle is part of it may take away the pain of the fear of having to experience what struggle feels like for you, knowing that there's something better if you just keep walking.
That's amazing. I thank you so much, and I know our audience thanks you. For all of you all that are listening on the Live Podcast Network, thank you. If you're also listening on our YouTube channel, please feel free to like and subscribe. We definitely need that constant support to grow all of our different verticals of trying to get this Sunday Stacks, content to the audience and to the masses. We really want you to tell a friend to tell a friend. When you hear information like this, we're approaching certain topics in a whole nuanced way of allowing for a different perspective of understanding, listening, translation to appear so we can start to have a more stretched conversation in the things that we kind of get caught up in repetitive dialogue. So as I transition and we keep to our topic, it is time for the Whiz of the Week. Whiz of the Week. Yes, this week's Whiz of the Week is, as always, as we keep to the main topic, we were talking of struggles. And this week, we had former NFL great Terrell Davis. He went on Good Morning America to discuss an age-old problem that we all sometimes have, which is flying in the airports and having issues with, a flight attendant maybe not having a good day, maybe having a bad attitude, but ultimately there was some level of conversation, altercation that happened with Terrell Owens and his family, as we all have been there, where you have to be separated in how you seat in the plane. And obviously he tapped on a flight attendant's shoulder and didn't think much of it. And later on finds himself, when he gets to his destination, getting handcuffs put on him by, I guess, as they describe, FBI agents that approached the plane to see, I guess, this Terrell Davis, who they may looked at him and not even looked at him necessarily to say who he was as an athlete and does that even get him any, extended benefits or courtesy, but ultimately took him off the plane in handcuffs. And he felt the need to come to Good Morning America to challenge United Airlines, their practices, their employee practices, and just this egregious, attitude towards having someone get into something light with a flight attendant to only find themselves utterly embarrassed. And so when I think about these situations, I think going back to struggle. And when we think about what he's now doing to advocate for these types of issues, sometimes he may have never done anything had none of this happened. But now that this has happened, it's causing him to have to stretch his celebrity, stretch his opportunity to now be a voice, a vessel that God has chosen to get in some good trouble, to really bring an alarm if this is something that's happening to other people who may not have his high profile that needs to be brought to attention. So we also want to talk this week of the Whiz of the Week and also address politics as usual. As we know, this week has been a unique kind of week. So last week on our show, we recorded prior to what happened to the President Donald Trump, which caused a little bit of a chaos with this attempted assassination situation. But always everyone from all sides started to analyze this. And some people have questioned its authenticity. Some people have given him his prayers and praised him and, said Jesus himself has covered him to be the chosen appointed. I mean, we've seen it all. And how have we seen it? Because this assassination attempt happened right before the Republican National Convention, which happened this past week. And I mean, it was a spectacle of spectacles. They had everyone. They had Amber Rose. They had pastors from Detroit. They had, all different audiences. I think Kid Rock was in attendance. I think Melania showed up. She normally
The
doesn't.
kids from UNC that held up the U.S. flag.
I mean, UNC was there. I mean, you had everyone. They found every way to pull everyone out at this convention in their way, the best, to unify what they believe America through the grand old party. Trump himself, tried to talk unity, but always ends up with his normal talking points. I think there's always takeaways. He named J.D. Vance as his vice president and running mate. So that was something that we hadn't known yet, which is who would be the next vice president with Trump if he wins this November's election. So there's a lot of things now. I think Kamala Harris's camp already challenged him to a debate. So we'll see how that turns out when that opportunity happens. And then we also had a unique opportunity this week to watch where, we had I guess a battle of the Joes this week, because we had news about Morning Joe. We had news that our president, Joe Biden, had COVID this week. Strangely enough, right, with the week where they're always chattering about whether or not they want to replace him or not, he ends up getting COVID, y'all. So it's been a week of weeks of things that, as we use the Wizard of the Week, we try to discuss the things that come into our feeds, come into our scrolls, come into the newscasters, headlines, and they basically are meant to distract you. They extract you from this thing we talk about, the FCC. This family community company. Sometimes we know more about political leaders, or maybe not enough, right? We know about the ones they want you to know about.
And what they tell you on the box.
And what they tell you as they use these people, they raise all this funds and capitals, not to give to the people who are struggling with groceries and at the gas pump, but to use it to put ads in our face that create more discontent, that lead to potential assassination attempts, or people willing to fake an assassination attempt. We don't know, because we live in 2024 where we don't have any clarity in anything. And now we call that politics as usual, unfortunately. And whether Joe Biden was actually sick with COVID, and how Morning Joe was upset because he got bumped, because now the headlines want to give more attention to the Republican convention after Trump almost got assassinated. There's so much mess that's going on out here that's distracting y'all. And we want y'all to understand that this is that struggle. And this is that part where we talk about good trouble. But the question now is, how do we get to a place where if we focus on our families and really build our own mental health, personal health, how do we get to a place of thriving and growing? And that's what we really want to focus on here at Sunday Stacks, is to really get everyone to a better place of transition and rationalizing some of these daily headlines and stuff you hear all the time that is meant to distract you. And it takes you away from you using your energy in a way that actually matters. And that's in you taking care of your family, your community, in your company. So, you got any opinions on some of this, or you got any other things to mention of what's going on with the Wizards this week, Shemekka?
Well, I just wanted to share condolences with Representative Sheila Jackson Lee out of Texas, who has been very active in civic service. She transitioned this week. She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and has been still walking the walk and talking the talk of civic service, even in the midst of her journeying her own personal health and well-being. So prayers and thoughts go out to the family, the other congressmen, the other statesmen, that not only in the state of Texas, but across the nation that has been impacted. Like, she is a model citizen, model mentor, model mother to her community in nurturing for all these many years to serve in this seat. So as this happens during this election season, it's just what happens in Texas with filling her seat is something to have prayer and covering over, so that doesn't get messy and dirty, and that people are still able to be heard, and the pathways that she put her mind to, her policy behind getting things presented, that stuff can continue for the betterment of her community.
I love it. Condolences to, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee's family. Again, there's so much that we could be focused on as good human beings and being decent. And sometimes we get so caught up again in this divisive nature that's almost by design, that I don't see anyone looking at ways of changing it, right? We always just fall into it and choose a team and choose a side. But I hope after, whether it's crazy assassinations, real or fake, or just the transition of people for real, that we all really start to slow down and ask ourselves, what kind of country do we want? What kind of model is America going to be for the world? And we hope that you all take on this version of FCC, which is that family, community, and company model, so we can all get to being about the kingdom business that we all could be about, and really transitioning and changing things around the world by being the light that people are looking for. And
no matter who is in the presidential seat. Like I was sharing with someone working on some things coming down the pipeline, and they were like, how do we prepare? What's our contingency plan if the person that we are interested in winning doesn't win? I'm like, well, you need to have your consistency plan no matter who's in that seat. And just like we have when all these national championships happen, they print products with everybody's name on it. They just get rid of it and send it overseas if the losing team didn't win, and they sell who won. So we have to do that same thing. We can't be hurrying up and waiting, or worried while waiting to see what happens November 5th, knowing that you make the difference. You are the change you want to see. So align your mind, body, and spirit within your family, community, and company, and create that consistency plan that no matter who, no matter what, you are going to be fully committed to continuing to press towards what you've been called to do and the work that you're passionate about creating the change in, because you are the change. You are the change that you're looking for.
I love it. The consistency plan. What is your not contingency plan, y'all? Your consistency plan. I love that. And I definitely think, this is our goal here with Sunday Stacks, is to be consistent and continue to just empower you all. And just again, as we wrap up, we want to make sure you check out all of our social media platforms. We're constantly posting information. Michael Stewart Isaacs, you can find me. We'll put it in different in the bio and description here on YouTube, and as well as on the Alive Podcast Network. You'll be able to find our information with Shemekka, Ebony, and definitely check out all of what we're building. But I definitely want to continue on this consistency plan. I love that. I really do think, I appreciate that on behalf of the audience, that we really need to stay focused and moving in that direction. So we are grateful for all of you all tuning in. Check out Shemekka Ebony on her YouTubes and Instagram platforms. Make sure you like and subscribe on the Sunday Stacks on, again, YouTube. Also our I Am Brilliant on YouTube. We have the Brilliant Bunch, our young kids doing their thing in community. So we want to continue just to shout out everyone out there. We got a lot of young people out here we're going to start working with and building together with this I Am Brilliant, production mindset that me and Shemekka are building. So Sunday Stacks is just the beginning. So we thank you all for locking in, tuning in, watching our growth. We always want to continue to give you great episodes. I hope you enjoyed this one. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and continue to, listen up for what comes next week with Sunday Stacks, as we continue to tell you how it's stacking up for us week for week. I am Michael Stewart Isaacs.
And I'm Shemekka Ebony.
And as we always wrap, we always like to say, I am brilliant and you are too. Thank you for tuning in to Sunday Stacks, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.